participation in strata meetings for owners' corporations. Now, this is one really for property managers and for strata managers. So it's a double-edged on this one. And this is when tenants are requesting that they actually participate in owners' corporation meetings. So either annual general meetings or extraordinary general meetings, or just meetings in general for strata organisations. So firstly, there's a couple of things that need to happen that you need to, if you're a tenant, you would need to check that you're registered on the strata roll. The property manager or the landlord who's managing that responsibility or managing that property is responsible for notifying the tenant's details to Strata within 14 days of that tenant entering the property. So the Strata have details on how to get access to that property if they need it, how to deal with the property in general if there are concerns, particularly when there are concerns about the common property. So not just from a tenant participation perspective, it's that this is an overall issue where property managers need to inform Strata. Now, if a tenant wishes to attend a owners' corporation meeting, so AGM, now a scheme can have a tenant representative where at least half of the lots are tenanted. When you've got a strata building and there's 30 lots, say, and 10 of them are tenanted, then you do not have to have a tenant representative on that owner be allowed to attend. However, when more than half the lots, so if 16 of those lots were tenanted, then the tenants actually have a right to be looking at having a representative on that on the owners' corporation meetings. So now, what the tenant gets if they're elected to be on that. Now, the tenants obviously all get together. The selection of that tenant can be managed by the strata manager. They need the normal process. There are processes set out in the regulations on how this occurs. So for the Strata Schemes Management Act and its regulations about having the meeting with 14 days notice, and just the general rules around calling meetings of that nature, and that's with the tenants. So they've elected a tenant rep, say. That tenant rep will get an agenda sent to them. They can attend the meeting. They can speak at the meeting. They can definitely be asked to leave by the chairperson when financials are being discussed, and they actually have to leave. They don't have the right to be there when financials are being discussed. They do not get to vote at the meeting, and they cannot make up the quorum for an owners' corporation AGM or EGM. So whilst they can have their say, and this is a really good part of, when they will know, the tenants will, particularly when there are more than 50% of the lots being tenanted, they will know more about what's going on in that block than the owner ever will. So or the property manager. So it was a good addition into the regulations, and something that should definitely be remembered by both property managers and by strata managers to facilitate that process within the building that you're managing from either angle there.